Trundle has started to rise up on day 3 as that takeaway pick.
And I feel like that's always the same with the West when we see things in the East that like, oh my god, this can't be let through as blue side V1. Whereas teams maybe don't feel as confident or they just don't want to experiment with what they're trading away right now. A little bit wishy-washy from me, but you get the point of sign gets taken away. Azir still up and available. Yeah, that's an easy lock-in here for Jackies.
Yeah, now on the opposite side, I think you can still take the Pantheon here if you really want to, or just go for the Vi. Cassante immediately.
Holy.
I thought, wow, okay, so
trait.
very different priorities from what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Like, Vi Pantheon is kind of the big picks for me on this, on the jungle Pantheon, especially with like Wukong gone and the Trundle also taken away. But going for the tree, trying to set up for just a strong front to back, and maybe looking at yesterday's games and going, hey, if we can just play for late game scaling, wait for GIANTX to misstep, maybe we've got a shot in that one.
Well, for GIANTX, it looks like they are going to what I would call chalk and standard front to back. Sejuani with Azir, with Ambessa to lead the charge. Like, those picks on 3 are really straightforward.
Yeah, and I think they give you a lot of power as well, especially Ambessa, when it comes to the later portions of the game, can be an absolute menace in the side lane, which I think is where GIANTX really stepped up for me in their series yesterday. Like, they had a really good understanding of where they needed to be, how to teleport, where to be positioned on the map, and if you can lend that in towards Lot, who actually had a very good series, we'll have to see. But Czajek, so just as a heads up, this is still what. Up until this bit, I would have said that this was probably going to go bot lane to Carzzy. Carzzy has played in the past. But, if you look back at the NNO tournament, Czajek actually played the Ziggs mid, and we're starting to see Ziggs rise up more as a mid lane champion on the current patch. So I think this will actually be mid Ziggs.
And I know as well, I think it was Shanks on AL. It was his response to TES, at least to Creams. It was either Knight. No, sorry, I think it was Knight's response, to correct myself. His response to Azir. And there's been a lot of pros kind of looking and seeing like, okay, this first pick Azir once again in another League of Legends split is a priority. How do we deal with it? And Ziggs seems to be the rising force. Dagda, further to your point, that most likely here should be going to Czajek to deal with the matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, it's nice. It's long range. You can try and poke him out. It sets yourself up well. So I understand why it's coming through. And also then the turret taking potential and the wave clear is such a nuisance to try and deal with later on in the game too.
Well, with that locked in, let's look towards bot lane. Yet to be discovered, yet to be decided. Jhin, Kite's already taken away. Looks like GIANTX is scared of that long-range utility. Maybe Ashe follows through as well as Poppy disengage gone. They might be setting themselves up for something like an Alistar there, maybe the Rell as well. Maybe getting rid of these supports that can get the way. The Yone also taken away. They think, hey, that Ziggs could be bot, and so we're hedging our bets on GIANTX.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, because I think especially since I saw Czajek already played in the NNO tournament, I'm just imagining it's going to go there. But either way, Yone already taken off the board as well. Yeah, so there's a Lucian, immediately slammed. So I'm not as sure on the Lucian slam here. I think Lucian still is a champion that kind of requires a lot of setup, and I do like it with the Maokai. But I think when I've kind of looked at like a Cassante and a Maokai, I would have liked something that's a bit more of that consistent DPS. But I think a Lucian, it's like you throw the Colleen, and obviously you are an AD carry, you have some consistent DPS, but it can be difficult to try and play that short range AD carry. Yeah, it's more of a Colleen boss to a certain extent in my eyes.
It's a great point, because he's committal, right? Like Lucian has to be there, and as you said, short range. Which means something like the Corki maybe would have fit, or something like Ezreal
would have,
also up when you consider the only tank is that jungler for now, with a Bruiser in the mix. Front to back for GX is going to continue though, and yeah, look, they've got the options. They pick any AD carry they want here. They know they're probably going into an Alistar, but Alistar with Lucian, maybe not. Braum. Dagda, the last one up and available for GX. They've got range themselves. What a front to back. Simple. As a Vitality have to round this out with disengage.
Yeah, also the Corki was something that was banned away pretty consistently against No in his first series as well. So
good reason,
something that he going to be happy to get his hands on. So overall, you're kind of looking at Vitality, and it is kind of culling for a poke alongside the Ziggs poke, and then hoping you can try and play for this lockdown kind of kite back as well, find space with Braum and his ultimate. The Maokai ultimate can be used for engage and disengage in the same breath. So I think you've got tools from Vitality to play at range, and it is going to be more on GIANTX to try and find engages, but they have a plethora of tools to make that happen. So I definitely feel like it's going to be a case of finding success for GIANTX in the early game and trying to take Vitality position before they can get onto objectives.
Which does feel like their strength. If you played so well in the early game yesterday, for the most part in that best of 3 versus KC, having this comp and then the ability to team fight later on, maybe it covers a lot of those gaps. Maybe they've simplified it today so the less chance of making a mistake. Like, you know, the Silas game 3 was just, it was a bit of a travesty because GIANTX fell before they could start walking. And they kind of went backwards in that game, and it felt a little bit too much in the hard basket. This game, though, this opening game of the series, as Aaron Chamberlain stands by with Gil Hoto, man, I'm curious because GX really made it simple as anything as we throw it over.
Thanks so much. I'm standing by with Gyoso. Gyoso, like the draft seems relatively simple, relatively straightforward, you know, front to back. I want to talk a little bit more about the team's mentality coming into this weekend because on social media, you guys have been very public about scrim results. You've been very public about your expectations for the split. Do you think you're putting a lot of weight and expectation on your players, and could that possibly backfire?
I don't think so. If I thought, then we wouldn't be doing it, obviously. I think that for us, even if we speak of scrims, it's not something that we take with the mindset that just because we are doing good that we'll do it on stage. We are very aware of the problems that we had before of translating it into stage as well. So yesterday didn't affect us as much. We knew that we were coming as underdogs. We were public about that as well. And today we think that we should be favorites to win, and scrim results do not win us the game, and we don't think they do.
That has kind of been historically what's happened. Have you changed anything from day 1 to day 3 of this weekend?
I mean, we didn't play day 1. We played, I guess, day 2 and day 3.
Day 2, yes.
But not really. There's not much time to change. We played 24 hours ago. We trust in our prep for both series. So what we had thought before against Vitality is what we are doing today as well.
All right, well, good luck in the games. Thank you so much for joining me. Back to you guys.
Who I give it to, Medic?
Thank you, Medic. Good insight. I mean, again, yeah, scrims don't always translate across. It seems like a humble approach here from Gyoto that for GIANTX after their opening day, things can always get better. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm rambling about. Dagda and myself are going to take you through this final series of Week 1 opener. As we kind of get into the game, we already talked about it. Feels like a front to back for GX, stopping what Vitality want to do here in this game as well. Dagda, it seems quite simple. I said it last time, like a GX's comp. It's a nice way to start your series with something so simplistic, right?
Yeah, and I think it's it should set them up nicely because you have ease of not only execution in team fights, but how you want to try and set up this early game as well. Like, Isma can try and play for top lane if he wants to, but realistically, it's going to be trying to play for, I think, Noah and Jun and trying to play around this Corki and get him going. And I think Isma really did step up yesterday. Like, the series against KC could have been a GIANTX win. Game 1 and Game 2, they were firmly in the lead, but they just couldn't quite get across the finish line. And we kind of already touched on it a little bit, but despite the great starts you can see at the bottom of your screen, it was individual missteps that came in Game number 1 that gave KC that opportunity to come back into the game. And Game 2, much cleaner. They were able to take home the win. But so I think they were a bit heartbroken with the way Game 3 opened, where they just couldn't get their footing right. But it was so close to being GIANTX taking that series over KC based off the first 2 games.
I feel like for GIANTX, getting over that today is going to be really important as you see someone's head pop out. Ignore Carzzy's bushy hair. I can fix it for you instead. As we get into this game, just a quick reminder, Vitality are starting with a brand new roster. Only one change, but that change is really important because we went from having Hylissang to Niski to now Fleshy has joined in. A previous LFL regular season hero. I feel like on Vitality B, he was a strong bottom laner. Yoppa, VTO was also on that roster, if you remember him, and Vertigo from top. So, yeah, he's really come in with a big force, and I guess a bit of expectation to fill in the gaps where that team was obviously looking for something different.
But I think it's just the expectation of, hey, we've got someone who's used to the role. And the fact, it is very easy to look at the support role and say, oh, well, you don't really need hands to do the things that you have to do. It's more about having an understanding of where you need to be in the map. What is the enemy support doing? How can I interact with the different laners? What are my timing windows? And that is much more difficult to just pick up over the course of a split, but top side here.
Yeah, Nako, flash might have to be burned. Waiting for the Arctic Assault, but not in time. Permafrost's going to reach as well. Good, though, from Nako. Presses the W, and as you expect, he gets out, but a flash now down.
Yeah, and I think this will make him a little bit more vulnerable if it ends up coming to things like the lane swaps and that, because I'm looking at that bottom side already. Both Jun and Noah starting to get that reset in. They could go top here, and especially as you start to look towards the potential for dives and other things like that where the lanes are mismatched, that just makes Nako so much more vulnerable in that regard.
Also, giving Ambessa a free way to scale towards that Eclipse always feels nice, as early on feels like Ambessa's weakness really lies in the fact that she can't get a lot of her spell rotation down. Huge cooldown windows, and in fact as well, she's quite vulnerable with her health bar early. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those days where, and for GIANTX, well, my thoughts are going everywhere, Dagda. You can talk now.
Yeah, you're good. It is, sometimes it is those days. But yeah, I agree. I think it's the fact that Ambessa can do relatively well when it comes towards, hey, we're using those abilities to try and survive underneath the tower. She has so much mobility, it's kind of absurd. So
yeah.
It makes things easier, and the fact she has flash as well. But now that it's actually Vitality that have gone for the mismatch with sending Carzzy and Fleshy up towards that top side, this, and you've got the Sejuani coming down to the bot lane, Nako has to be very careful. Now, he's in a decent spot. His wave is kind of frozen here underneath the tower. It will get shut in, but this is where you could end up with the potential for some sort of dive if Nako gets chipped out.
Phosphorus Bomb does hit, so closer towards that goal. There's half HP, but now moves to level 6. But GIANTX have already started the Dragon, and with the Rell by the side, Permafrost not too far off as Lot steps in, but it's just a sledge out, so he's going to survive for now. Level 6 off the back of this wave as well to punish a mistake.
And that's why he's stepping up so far. He's just trying to get in range, use that shield to get to the experience ring to make sure that he's able to pick it up and try and hit 6 as soon as possible. Because you can see he is quite substantially far behind Nako, just with the way the wave has been. But now with that crash, there are a few members of Vitality on that top side if they want. And yeah, you can see there, GIANTX kind of realize that there's some members missing, teleporting Jun in to make sure no sort of dive can happen, and Lot can actually pick up that CS without any trouble.
You notice how Lot spams his abilities on the minion wave so he doesn't share experience as well?
Yeah.
3 minions left for the share onto Jun, hit 6 before it, but doesn't fall behind at CS because Nako is about to get level 7. He's got a free pushing wave down bot. Teleport going to be the response from Lot to capture. We're gearing up for something. They're clapping, but I don't know where we're going. There's nothing coming up. There's no Herald, there's no Grubs, there's no Dragon. Oh, just clap. Woo! Good one. And we'll wait another 10 for first blood.
Yeah, I think it is a good call out on the experience difference between the two top laners, though, Hysterics, because that is going to be kind of the main focus. So because Nako was able to get the wave and catch it just as it hit his third, he ended up picking up way more of that CS. So Lot is a little bit behind, even having to burn the TP to try and catch the wave hasn't really evened that out. And it means that in the future, when we start to look towards things like the Dragon, Nako should, I believe, have his TP pack up, whereas you won't have that available. So I think Vitality, you can try and play for that mismatch with sending Nako top away from the Dragon and have him as a potential source to TP down, because we already had GX pick up the first Dragon.
Triple TP game, by the way, with Spellbook on both supports. No big surprise, but again, just something to note as Smite Steals from support have been talked about quite a lot. We are in 25-15 though, so remember the Smite Steals from supports are down to 900, but you have to get that third Smite to get 900. The second one is still worth only 600. It is meaningful when, again, like, they're always going to be behind the curve. It is a nice change of life, I feel like. 1200 for a support Smite, I think, was a bit too much late game.
Vitality here in a decent position. Have to be careful of Jun looking for a big engage, but the ultimate from Lyncas can do a lot of work here.
Czajek's just going to throw some bouncing bombs out. Vitality disengaging. They've got one grub, but the Smite walk by Lyncas with a second. Really nicely done, but he gets ulted on the way out. Nature's Grasp going to be sent to return, though. Twisted advance onto Jun, and there's a bit of poke, but not much damage yet. Vitality playing with fire as GIANTX are going to get what's left. One grub for 2, no one dies.
Yeah, Czajek was very low on mana, so they weren't really able to try and take that fight. If he'd had a bit more in the tank, you try and play for the choke point, and that's where your Ziggs and your Maokai ultimate can really pop off. But when he was just so low, there just wasn't really any chance. Fleshy just hovering around here to make sure Czajek can clear the wave, and now should be able to match the reset.
Okay. And so with 2 grubs, I mean, for Ziggs as well, let's not forget, while you're still going to get the Might Spawn, you're not getting the feet to add towards the list. There's Czajek. Oh, he tries a satchel charge. Has to flash, puts the minefield down, but Fleshy turns it into a bait. One more auto! It's not going to count. Jackies gets first blood, and Fleshy picks up the pieces.
Good attempt by Jackies. And to be honest, you're going to be happy with that. Get the kill. As long as Isma can freeze this wave, which he's been able to, you're going to be fine. So Jackies gets the kill. The kill on Vitality side goes to Fleshy, and you're still going to be able to pick up a large portion of this wave. So Jackie's pretty happy with the way that one turned out.
But Czajek, I think he got surprised. Like
yeah, big time.
The satchel charge was used as Jackie's came in and swept through with a swoop and boop, as you call it. Double TP, but Isma's here first. Onto Czajek again. Permfrost going to connect Czajek. Oh, disrespect part 2. And Jackie's with 2 kills on an Azir is cheering.
That one's going to sting. The fact that you hadn't gotten the full item completion Jackie's already has, and then you TP back in and now you're falling further behind, is absolute disaster in the mid lane. This Ziggs is not really going to be throwing anything worthwhile for the next little while.
And it's already, Nash has picked up. I mean, Jackie's going to be able to push that turret in. There's no minions for Czajek available because his TP was just burned, as you saw. CS difference through mid, and that's a mistake you can't make against GIANTX. We've seen their early game so strong, and we talked about it coming into this. That's really where they've been sitting on their laurels, at least for their first series against KC. And again, for K1, we're going to have those same stats, because although GX aren't that far ahead, they soon feel like they will be, with maybe objectives a little bit earlier, accessible to them, thanks to that lead in the mid lane.
Yeah, again, as you said, the nice lead in the mid is going to help out, but this is what we were talking about already, right? Vitality have set it up where Nako is now back on that top side with the TP advantage, so I think they're going to be looking to try and play for the Nako teleport in, so he can look for the place, look for the reset off the back of this as well, and then hold that TP if he needs to either go for Dragon or commit back to the top side. So I think this is where we might see Lot trade really heavily against Nako and try and go for the wave to deny him that opportunity to go for the Dragon.
Well, let's see if he makes the move. As you said, the teleport advantage is something, but Jackie's has push in mid. That's another level. And with the auto attacks going down, Jackie's is contributing enough where this Dragon's going to be done before Lyncas gets in. Level 8, the Maokai now spotting it out, but Smite's going to come in. Isma's going to take it. In fact, he doesn't even smite it. He just autos it down right in the face of Treebeard to the right, and double Dragon for GIANTX. Earl again, very much locked in.
Yeah, the mid gap too much on the push, and also then Carzzy losing a ton of help, but Fleshy wants to go forward here.
Good Shattering Strike though. Carzzy at half HP. This is a nature's grasp, but will it do anything? Culling in the way. Noah stands his ground. It's a good Glacial Fissure. John's ulti was weird and he died on top of that as well. Noah no matter to contribute anything more, and Vitality get a kill for their troubles.
Yeah, the ult from Jun was to try and CC Carzzy so he shouldn't get that last auto attack to guarantee the stun, but unfortunately just ends up flashing away, so burns the ult, burns the flash, and doesn't get much out of the back of it at all. And Vitality got to be happy with that one on the bot lane.
Especially going over to Carzzy as well, from what I could see. The earlier kill, the trade went over to Fleshy through the mid lane. This one goes to Lucian in need, as Naak are going to be bullied again. He has his flash up, but the problem this time is he's got an Iceborne Gauntlet, so Isma is not going to be able to do what he once did.
Still just going to use that pressure now to get some vision in onto this top side. No red buff to try and contest, but I thought they'd just try and get... Yeah, Jun should be able to come through here and get the vision that they need down, but jungle support matching.
Isma in the way. Now, is it going to turn into anything? Because Noah's also here. He's using this time to push in mid-turret. A smite actually goes over to Lyncas in the end. Isma's still consistent, though, on rather adamant in staying in place. And now we get a picture-in-picture. Bot laners, or top laners, I should say, are trading over as Jun goes for an engage. There's that TP in the tri-brush, and there's no response. So with a shuffle out, Fleshy is just dead. It's about who gets the kill at this point. Even Noah's part of it. But another one over to Jackie's, 3 for the Azir, and Vitality are getting roughed around the edges.
Yeah, Laure going to be able to actually keep Czajek away from this top wave as well. So while this was all going on in the invade, there was a push in mid where Noah got some mid plates and actually got a good chunk of gold for himself. You end up getting this push on top side, which gets some much needed gold for Jackie's as well, although Ziggs exists. So maybe not as much as you're hoping for, but mid lane,
Valkyrie forward, auto for auto. Carzzy flashes and the piercing light almost does it. Noah gets out, good response time as both are left with cleanse only.
If that big one had hit, that flash auto from Noah would have been the death of Carzzy.
True.
But just the minions barely getting in the way so Carzzy doesn't take the splash damage. Means that Carzzy's able to nearly get the kill back, but both flashes now burnt on the AD carries and still looking at pressure elsewhere on the map. Top, that play has gone through, but on the bottom side, as we just saw, Nako again crashing more waves, making sure he's growing that lead that he has from the top side.
Yeah, this Cassandra 800 gold up, and it's a great point that you mentioned, you know, the value for Vitality right now. It's definitely in that front line. As Naak not only survived the gank, survived being flashless for 5 minutes of the game. earlier on. But even at this case, is pushing his side lane so much that it's drawing attention. And GIANTX, when they do make these big commitments, Dagda, there is at least some kind of trade. I think that's important.
Yeah, and a lot of that is kind of how the TPs have been used, right? You saw Nako initially, as you say, TP bot to pick up the wave, and then Lot TP top to try and get into that play, which means Nako, who'd actually TP to the wave, was just continuously getting the CS in this farm. So I think the K'Sante going to be fairly big as we start to move forward into the rest of these fights, just off of a second item. Very quickly underway, but I mean, you're looking at Jackie's and he's huge.
And Nako's going to get something back though. 3 minions in the way, but not enough auto damage as he might have to end up proxying this way. But look at where Czajek is. Satchel charge. Now the turret's gone. Lot isolated. Ulti's back in as Nako. What? That interaction. There's 3 versus 1 though, so Lot should still be dying as Nako eventually has to walk back in.
Who ends up winning, an unstoppable force or an unstoppable force? Instead, the unstoppable force wins. As K'Sante ends up sending himself over the wall. That got dicey, but this is even more dicey.
Again, Jackie's just keeps finding the shoves in. Fleshy's caught out. His debut has been rough on this from the last 2 plays in isolation. There's Vitality, they're going to do what they can do best. With 2 grubs, get yet another turret, but for GIANTX with the kill, that gold's going to be back to maybe even more summers. Carzzy's left to isolate and hold down mid by himself.
Yeah, mid tower going to fall, and they should be able to get another charge off of this here. Resets coming through for the Dragon in 40 seconds, and all they really wanted was to make sure they could get the tier 1. So now when they come back out onto the map, they can push that wave in further and move across the Dragon. But here, it's just a good roam from Czajek. Gets the tower down with the satchel and then the immediate follow-up, but it's the unstoppable on both sides, making that one a little funky, but I think Lot needed to just try and commit for the kill on Czajek. Maybe he could have got it, or at least got Czajek low, maybe burnt a summoner, but trying to escape, there was just too many members down there.
In the end, trying to use Ziggs that in any way they can at this point, because Vitality, this early game has been gifted over to Jackie's, but now finally we get that fight. It's the 3rd Dragon, and you know, we've talked a lot about teleports here, Dagda, but both top laners are nearby. This is going to be a walk-in for a 5-on-5 in the pit.
I think both sides want to kind of hold off for a second. Ultimates on the top laners, not fully there. Nako's just come off. Lot is just momentarily off of it, and he's even looking for a flank position on this bottom side. So Vitality getting corralled a little bit here.
But they need to land some poke themselves. It's Czajek versus this Corki and Azir as Carzzy walks into Isma. It's a free engage. Finding a road has never been so easy for Jackie's. Eventually has to flash, but he's ready to re-engage himself. Nako, the tank, discoordinated with the rest of his team as the poke continues to land from Noah. And Vitality, that's not even a team fight, that's just different places at different times.
I mean, good positioning from GIANTX. They came in at multiple different angles, making it difficult for Vitality to really set up a choke point or one area where they could focus all of that AoE and crowd control. We'll get to see it in the replay, but a fumble from Vitality and GIANTX, they pounce onto Carzzy and finish him off.
3rd Dragon going to be the back of that as well. For GIANTX, it might sound like it's one-sided despite that gold still being close, but again, this Azir just keeps getting so much, and the Dragon stats to add it into the mix. 5 minutes to a Mountain Soul. Let's have a look at how this happened again, because Carzzy just got walked into.
Yeah, because Lot's forced them out this way. You've got Isma's pressing here and forcing everyone up into this position, which is just perfect then, because you already have Isma in a great position on the flank, but Vitality never get that front to back that they really want to, where they can open up with a culling, where they can open up with the satchel and the mines to just keep people in place and get that poke down. And so it was a nice setup by GIANTX to kind of, as Vitality are going back, to get these different flank angles, but also a bit of mispositioning from Carzzy. He really needed to be positioned in over by the blue buff with the rest of his team.
Bit of column A, column B though, I think. Further to your point, how that collapse worked from GIANTX was clean, and we were complimenting them yesterday. Well, no, I wasn't. I was doing that in my desk chair at home. But the compliment from yesterday was how well their early game came together, like their map movements, their first 15 minutes, even these first 20, have been really clean. And I think as a macro, you know, the masterminds, as far as they go, this does feel like I'm watching like an Eastern team in the first 20 minutes. That's how it feels watching GIANTX at the moment.
And I agree, which is insane to me when my biggest criticism in the past has been they don't really know how they want to try and position themselves in the mid-game, how they want to approach waves. someone overextends, they get caught out, like on a wave, overextends and gets caught out. But honestly, they've been playing it really, really well. And I think the focal point has been the step-ups of Jackies and Loss and their understanding of how to try and play on side lanes, and then how Isma can support them through that. Jun has kind of been pretty exceptional in understanding where he needs to be. He is one of our strongest supports, but now having Isma as that pair has really just leveled up the understanding of GIANTX.
It was mentioned that Isma working towards his best split. A lot of criticisms to this jungler, but so far so good here on the Sejuani. Is looking for a little bit more. Lyncas just trying to get his own red buff away. He will succeed in that, but Isma doesn't take too much damage, and Czajek does not have his second item here. And for this Ziggs, needs to work towards that Rabadon, that third item. You know, before this poke starts becoming exceptional. Tanks are already tanking up. That's Isma there, who can stand here, free of charge, with Jun by the side with the crash down. The explosive bomb not even needed. Can't get anything back. It's Noah, who has bigger bangs for his buck right now on the Corki.
And now it's Adakan that's just spawning this top side as well. So GIANTX perfectly positioned to pick that one up. It was weird for Vitality to try and contest that vision as much as they did, because Nako was free pushing on that bottom side, ended up getting the tier 2 there, and it's gone. But now they want to try and contest for Adakan.
But meanwhile, Jackie's sent out the Emperor's Divide. Carzzy caught again, but the slide makes it a nice glide. There's another one. Jackie's has just opened up with no AD carry left for Vitality. This fight becomes harder. Fleshy's teleported in, but Vitality are working their way towards their doom. The ulti out from Naak goes nice, but they still can't kill Isma. As Jackie works away from the side, his auto attacks his lethal tempo with 2 items. This Azir is already monstrous. This Czajek, his value just ain't there. Lot takes a little bit of poke. The Mega Inferno Bomb. You want more, even with the satchel charge. Vitality can't find a kill. It's only Isma who eventually goes down. They stop the Adakan, but it looks so tough for Vitality to play.
It is incredibly hard. The fact they managed to get a wall between them and GIANTX is crucial, but great positioning from Jackie's, just hunting for Carzzy, shoves him back. Carzzy has nowhere to go, and Jackie's didn't even have a flash to follow, but was still able to get the kill. And here, this was the commitment where Vitality hoping to try and find that poke and hoping to find something, but the Isma falls, but this wall kind of being able to step up and hold them in place was pretty crucial, as Czajek is in a position now, as you can see, to look for poke, control space in areas, and these little choke points are just perfect for the Ziggs, but it still ends up being Fleshy going down. It's a trade for Isma alongside Carzzy, who had already fallen.
While it is granted that Isma does go down, it's nice. The kill doesn't go to that Ziggs. That Ziggs who was the option into the Azir. I talked about it LPL at the start. Like, it's seen as a nice matchup, something that can scale alongside. And obviously the wave clear is immense, but he's down a full item. Now just gets his void stuff. So Czajek is getting there with his second. But Jackie's is almost onto his third.
But you can see how crucial it is for a Ziggs to be positioned well, right? And the fights that we've seen thus far has not really been Vitality able to set up that defensive wall to enable a Ziggs to just poke and be safe. Like positions like this, these chokes could be good, but
like your prison, Lyncas sends out the Nature's Grasp, and it does something to disengage, but now it's a fight for the Gromp. Carzzy at half HP as well. Note the HP bar is going to be healed up as Fleshy moves to smite.
Loss on the side. Czajek now in a position that he can actually follow up, but with the Maokai ultimate gone, this is way less threatening.
But the wall's down. Fleshy doesn't have the Unbreakable for a little bit, and there's a big one in the hole. Trying to poke out is Noah. The big one does miss, so Vitality again, trying to play with time here. But I don't think time's on their side, because Dragon's still being started. This is the soul. Lot's also got an angle. Culling comes out, but John finds a 4-man with a public execution in the mix, and Lot is trying to get what he can before he dies. Auto out, but he survives, flashing over the wall. Vitality 4 blinking health bars, and yes, GIANTX the same. But they've got Isma, they've got enough health to start up Dragon again.
They have no TPs to come back, so they have to try and force it now. They're trying to get into the mid.
And the big one hit, Nako with the flash, it's nice, and gets rid of the Emperor's Divide. He survived, clutch play as Jun trades it off, but now Lot at full HP, runs into 3. He's stunned up, the help of Braum looks nice. Vitality on the edge, playing well, but still Noah survives. And remember, Soul went down as close as Vitality get. It just doesn't seem to be enough.
Vitality were just trying to bum rush the Dragon because they had 2 smites and hoped that one of them was able to succeed, but not quite. But great engage from Jun in this one. And again, if you had the Maokai ultimate here, maybe you could turn this around as Vitality and hope to play into this choke point, but you just don't have the tools available. They have to disengage. They try to come back from a different angle here, and sure, they end up getting one off the back of it, but this was nice from Nako, flashing forward, the unstoppable to get him safely out of the pit, but Lyncas tries to get in, Smite isn't there, it's still at 2k HP, and then lost, TP him back in, forces the rest of Vitality away.
I was just watching Jun in that fight as we come back to live and Czajek is caught out again. Isma's just everywhere. This must be so frustrating as Isma's going to take the kill. It was almost a solo kill, but Isma again will still clean it out regardlessly. Czajek 40 seconds down, Dagda, Baron's up in 30. Artican is in top side of the map, and GIANTX is just going to start this as well.
Yeah, this is nigh on impossible now for Vitality to try and contest. A large portion of your poke is gone. Carzzy is finding it incredibly hard to play up in these fights, like we're talking about with the Lucian, because there's so much that can connect with him in the backside between Lot, between Jun, even Jackie's a potential swoop and boop. So GIANTX controlling this space. Artican should be theirs, and with zero vision as to where the rest of GIANTX is, Vitality can't commit to either side of the play.
And with an almost 3-item Azir, you know that it's easy to chain this right into a Baron. Not much damage taken because Isma's tanking up Artican, so that'll fall. GIANTX now getting frisky in the top side of the jungle. See what else they can find. Jun with the engage. It's great. Again, the Magic Storm holding Vitality in place, but no follow-up damage from Vitality. Fleshy is trying to disengage. The Glacial Fisher down. Braum will smash as well. Lot just rolls in and helps get the kill over to Jackie's. GIANTX 5 strong yet again, and Carzzy is once again low.
A Baron is now available. It seems to be a constant play from GIANTX. Get the pick, go for the objective, and Vitality have to keep running though.
Gonna look for Nako, the target in the way. Teleport right into the middle of the wave. Isma cutting off the escape path. Nako is getting shredded as well. Noah sends out the Gatling gun, and that is it. Onto Lyncas, a new target, a fresh kill. GIANTX now playing with their food. 5k up in the lead, and Baron is next to fall.
It's so difficult as Vitality to try and face check these points and get away. You have a Rell slow that's coming through. Jun is coming over all these walls, getting the CC that you need. And Lot, every time you're trying to fight on one part of the equation, Lot is coming in with the public execution and threatening the backline consistently, opening up this giant divide between the front and back line of Vitality. And now Fleshy, you've got Smite, but I don't think you have a hope in hell of getting into this one.
It's been a rough game for him, 1-6-4, and his debut. Granted, I mean, some of the skirmishes he's been great with because he's been applying passive, but how hard is it to play for him as well? He's not the only one.
Yeah, but again, here it's like, you shouldn't really be contesting this position.
Also
like,
true.
Czajek isn't base, Nako isn't in your front line, but again, it's like, Lot is able to come in from one angle, go in towards the back line, gets the damage off onto Carzzy, and then is able to walk out towards the top side. You've got Noah, who's essentially untouched this whole time. Like, the way in which Vitality are setting up for this composition is not where the strengths of it lie. And I think that's where GIANTX are just playing the front to back better.
Yeah. That's why it's so smart with the comp. Play a comp that just plays front to back, where your weakness right now seems to be the mid game, and how you transition that lead and that skill you find in early game. With a comp like this, it seems foolproof. Now GX, the onslaught begins because Baron is going to do a lot of the work for them. Noah stepping up to get this inner turret through mid. And this Ziggs, only 2 items, the wave clear, probably in comparison to the minion level, isn't going to matter as much as you think it would.
GIANTX, this is kind of just dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
Yeah.
Like, play it by the book. Don't let the mistakes of yesterday slip into play.
True.
You're getting all the outer towers down. You're about to reset. You're going to have a ton of gold to spend now as well. And then it's just a case to start siege on towards the turrets. I mean, Jackie's coming back out on the field, 3 bid items to his name. This Azir is huge. The 606 Corki doing rather well for himself as well. Like, it feels like even if you combine a great fight at this stage for Vitality, just the sheer numbers on GIANTX is just going to be too much to handle.
And it all comes off the back of Isma in this game. The pressure on mid has been fantastic, but that 1-for-1 earlier on, Jackie's getting the kill. It's snowballed effect from there. As you can see now, there's Rod of Ages at least. Excuse me, needlessly large Rod rather. Not important to talk about because Nako is just getting bullied. A bicep mid laner as Noah steps up into 5, and look at them. Vitality are playing spectator League of Legends because even the Corki can just run in and say hello.
Yeah, it's so over. It's just so done. But like, this is so sick to see from GIANTX.
Yeah.
Like, I'm genuinely really excited now to see what GIANTX can try and achieve in this group, because their early game is great. Their individual laning seems to be fantastic as well. Their understanding of how to use their composition really seems up there. Like, this is now a team that can really look to try and contest for some of these top spots.
And it's not game one Andy, guys, all right? Don't start saying
it's
that.
Day 3, Andy.
It's day 3. And against KC, they put up a showing. People were excited for GIANTX, but not in the way they're excited for KT, because GIANTX can finish the game. Lot ultis into Czajek, and you can see again the damage is a problem. Lot's taking a while to die. Gets the Drake out step, and Jackies sends them all to hell. GIANTX, the road is paved for them, and while Nako has had the best performance he could possibly have, GIANTX have been a nuisance in the way, and this time around the early game will translate to the means of an end. Vitality didn't get to play League of Legends. It was GIANTX stomping them into the ground for game 1.
That was an impressive performance from GIANTX. That, like, if I'm a Group A, I'm sweating. Like,
True.
This is, and even for the rest of it, this looks sick.
Man, I want to see what Vitality come up with for game 2, though. Let's see if GIANTX are on the road or if Vitality have something to say. We'll be right back.